Hello, everyone. My name is Sel, and I am super excited to have with us someone from our fantastic charity for this event, Little Warriors. Would you go ahead and introduce yourself, please?
Hi, my name is Gloria Maldrum, and I'm the founder and the chair of Little Warriors in the Be Brave Ranch.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking time to come join me for this interview. Absolute pleasure. Um, could you explain a little bit about what Little Warriors is for those who don't know?
You bet. I founded Little Warriors 15 years ago. I am a survivor of child sexual abuse. I was sexually abused by my grandfather from 8 to 10. I'm an entrepreneur by trade, but I wanted to build an organization that helped kids that have been sexually abused. And so that's exactly what we've done. And have been able to do that through, groups and people like yourself and your followers. And yeah, so we've also, Little Warriors is about prevention, education, advocacy, and treatment. So we have the Be Brave Ranch, which is the first treatment center in the world for kids that have been sexually abused. And we treat kids from 8 to 17. And that Be Brave Ranch has been around for 9 years. And we also have a Prevent It program that is how to prevent child sexual abuse in your families, and it's free. And that is on our website at littlewarriors.ca. And what's happening now is that we're doubling the size of the Be Brave Ranch because of COVID. Reporting of child sexual abuse has gone up 1,400% in the country. It's really important to know that it's actually way worse than that because 95% of kids don't disclose until they're over the age of 18. And so now we don't have enough beds. So we're raising $5 million to double the size of the Be Brave Ranch because we have a huge wait list. And we're also raising $15 million to build the first adult treatment center for people like me that were sexually abused as kids. And it's called Our Lighthouse. So we're pretty excited. Those are kind of the two big initiatives that are happening. But COVID really put us in a bad spot with the number of kids that have been sexually abused during COVID, and the severity of those cases are like nothing we've ever seen. So it's been a really emotionally tough couple of years.
Yeah, I can imagine. Um, how well informed do you think the general public is about child sexual abuse?
I think that the public knows that it happens, but I think that because it's such a stigmatized issue that, you know, parents rape and molest their own kids, coaches, like everybody, like it's everywhere. You can't avoid it. But that doesn't, at the same time, they know about it, but not enough people are standing up and taking action. Nowhere near it, right? These are our kids. If we don't protect them as adults, who does, right? And so I think they know about it, but more people kind of need to get involved because there's just, it ruins people forever. Like, I mean, I turned 50 on Saturday and I'm still, severe anxiety and just, OCD and eating things, and you know what I mean? Like, it's just not really a life I'd really wish on anybody. That's why we got to help these kids.
Mhm.
And, it's people like you that step up and help. It's everyday people, to be honest. Everybody always thinks it's the really rich people. I'm like, no, it's not. It's the everyday regular Canadian trying to help. Those are the people that make the difference. And, by helping, we also send a message that it's not okay for what these people are doing. But when the kids see people, when we're trying to raise all this money and they see that it's hard, what kind of message does that send to them? Not a very good one, right? We raise more money for humane societies and animal, like, not that animals aren't important. I have a cat and a dog and I love them, but these are our kids. Why is it easier to raise money to protect animals than it is kids? That's some messed up shit, right? It really is. These are our
Mhm.
kids, our flesh and blood. They're the next generation of leaders, right? Yeah, so it shouldn't be as hard as it is. um but it doesn't take us away from what we've got to do. We just keep marching on and fighting as best we can, right? And our cup gets filled with people like you that are stepping up to help. I'm so grateful, like, for the help. I just can't even tell you.
So if people want to get involved further, I mean, they can donate during this event, but if they want to get involved further, what are some ways that they can do that?
So if you go to littlewarriors.ca, you can see there's a tab that says how you can help. You can volunteer at the ranch. Obviously, when kids are not there, you can put on a fundraiser, host an event, make a donation. There's a list of things that we need. You could buy something on that list. You could do a toy drive or an art supply drive. Like everything is listed there. But the main thing we need now is money because we're doing a $20 million raise to double the size of the ranch and then to build the adult treatment center, while at the same time maintaining already what we're doing and raising. So that 20 million is on top of what we already raised to stay alive. And we still really get next to nothing for government funding. So it really is a journey of love and faith, because without those two things, you can't do it. Like this is changing the lives of families for generations, right? I don't really think people understand the magnitude of what we're doing, like decreasing prostitution, drugs, alcohol, suicide, homelessness, PTSD, anxiety, OCD, depression, all of these things, all of the bad things in life came from childhood trauma. And for the most part, child sexual abuse. 95% of prostitutes were sexually abused. Why do you think they're prostitutes? Why do you think people drink? Why do you think they do drugs? They do it to numb, to get away from their pain, right? But then we judge them and put them in jail because they made some mistakes, but we don't ever honor the fact of how they got there. We gotta, as a society, start and protect the survivors. I don't use the word victims, because in order for us just to be alive and not be dead, we're survivors.
Absolutely.
We're not victims. We're fighting the fight, right? We're in the game, we're in the arena, we're doing what we need to do, right?
Absolutely. Um, Another question that I hear oftentimes,
Yeah.
since this is, of course, an online event, we've got people viewing from potentially all over the world.
Oh,
So
that's so awesome.
they're not necessarily in Canada. I'm in Canada. I love that fact. But for say someone who's across the ocean and they want to get involved, the Prevent It program, would that be a great place to start?
Yeah, the Prevent It program is great. And then also keep in mind too that we treat kids from across Canada. And when we have beds, we do allow people from other countries to send their kids, but there's a charge, obviously, because all the money was raised in Canada. But once we have expanded, we'll once again open up to the world, because we are Little Warriors and the Be Brave Ranch is the Betty Ford, the Mayo Clinic of child sexual abuse treatment in the world. There's nothing like it. So if someone's listening in Australia and you're an adult, in 3 years, we're going to have a facility built for you, right? And we would love the help for you fundraising to help us to do that. We're going to have 40 more beds. So we're doubling the size of the bedside. And so that's, I always say, like, people be like, oh, we're from Vancouver. I'm like, yeah, like we treat like 20% of all of our kids come from there. They're like, what? I'm like, no, they're from all across Canada, right down the middle. 50% are east and 50% are west, right? And the other thing is that it's like, I think we've got like Venezuela, like all these places that people are contacting us and we're like, how did you even hear about us? Right? But they're just finding there's 1 hour therapy, but that doesn't, in my experience, really do very much. And I've been in therapy my entire life. It really is that intensive treatment. And yeah, like I think we're in 9 medical journals and 7 more that are coming. So we measure everything we do. So when I say we heal our children, we can actually prove it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what charity do you get to invest in that actually can prove what they're doing? Because we work with the University of Alberta and they measure all of our outcomes, right? So it's really frustrating not having enough money when you have the program to make it all, to fix it all, right? To heal all these kids and adults, but the only thing in the way is money. It's not our program. We know how to do it. Like, we know how to reduce PTSD by 25 to 50%.
Wow.
There's nothing, like it's wild, but you sit back and you're like, why is it so hard? But it's the stigma, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the stigma shouldn't be on us, shouldn't be on donors. It should only be on the offenders. But people have to wake up and realize that it's happening and not turn off the TV and be like, well, that's not my kid. You know what I mean? Like they're all our kids. We're all brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? We all are. You know, honestly, I think it's as simple. Like when people are like, I don't have any money and I don't have any time, I'm like, great. Can you tell 10 people about us? Everybody can do something, right? Everybody can do something. If you care enough, you'll do something. So
Yeah.
thank you for doing what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
When I heard you guys were doing this, like it just helps me to keep going. Yeah. So never underestimate the impact of doing good. Yeah.
Before we wrap up, is there any last things you want to say? Anywhere we should check you out?
Just, if people want to go to littlewarriors.ca to learn more about it and how they can get involved is great. And, honestly, we do a luncheon every year. It's on our website. You can actually buy a virtual ticket. And Paul Young, who wrote The Shack, he was been on Oprah. He's our keynote speaker in May. He is amazing. He's so amazing. All right, dear. Thank you so much.